Okay, so in today's session, we will be discussing on this case statement. We will see some scenarios wherein we use the case statement, and then we will move on to union and then move on to union all, right? And if there is time, we will move on to SQL joins. So let's start with the case statement, right? As the definition suggests, the case statement goes through a condition and returns a value when the first condition is met, right? So whenever a condition is true, it will exit the case statement, and if the first condition is not true, then it goes on for the second condition. If that is also not true, it looks for the third condition. If none of the conditions are true, it goes with the else condition, right? And in case we are not specifying a else condition in the case statement, it will just return null value, right? So this is how the case statement works, and the syntax is like this: case when some condition, then the result of this condition, right? So then if you want to have multiple conditions, you can have multiple when statements. So you can add one more when and add one more condition and then result. Or else, if none of your condition matches, it will be the default value which you will give under the else part. So this we already discussed last time, and I think you are all clear on the case statement syntax, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, right? So I have a sample input data here. Okay, so this is a table which has 4 columns: ID, username, email, and gender, and there are some values, right? And if you see the email IDs, few of them have email ID as @gmail.com, few of them have email ID @yahoo.com, right? So let's suppose I want to display, write a query to display the company of this email service ID provider, right? Like Sanjay is using gmail.com, which is Google's email ID service, right? So I should have a column defined as email company, and for Sanjay it should give us Google. For Nikki it should give us again Google. For Sam it should give us Yahoo, because the email is yahoo.com and it's traded by the company Yahoo, right? So how do we do this? So ideally, point was like we have to introduce a new column and display the company of which we are using the email service, right? So the query goes something like this: you will have a select statement, you will give a star, means you are selecting all these 4 columns which are already there in the table, and you are creating one more column with a case statement, right? So how do we do that? We use case when, since we are looking for the email column, and we need to find out a keyword here, like the people with the keyword gmail.com should be using the service of Google, right? Similarly, the person with email as yahoo.com will be using the services of Yahoo. So that is what we are doing here. So we are using a like operator to match this particular expression. So we discussed like, right? So we can find a substring, or is pattern in the string. So I'm using percentage and I'm giving Gmail. So whoever email will have Gmail, then I will just display Google as the email company for that particular user, right? And then I'm having one more condition here: when the email is like Yahoo, right, then I will display Yahoo. If nothing matches, I will just display no data found as the email company, right? So once we execute this case statement command, our output will be like this: ID, username, email, gender, and the email company is the new column that we defined with in this select statement. And this will give you results as Google, 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 Yahoo, and Yahoo. Clear on this part, how we use case statement in the select part?
Yes.
Okay. So after this, we have one more use case of case statement, which is on a update statement. So do you remember this scenario? We have seen an example of this update statement.
That we have seen, however, in the selection, I was not aware about.
Sorry?
In the updation, I know, however, in the selection which we have used the select part, the previous one.
Right. So you can use case in select, case in update, case in order by and where condition as well. syntax remains the same everywhere. It will start with a case keyword, it will end with a end keyword, and it will, in between you can have multiple when conditions. Else is optional. You can give a default value in the else part. If you don't have to specify any default value, you can just remove this else part also. So it works same in update as well. So this is the example wherein we are updating multiple values in a single column using a single update statement, right? So in this case, again the input is same. The gender here is male, male, and female. So what are we updating here? We are changing the gender as M when the gender is male, and we are making it F when the gender is female, right? So for that, we can use this particular update statement. So we are updating the employee table and setting the gender column as M when gender equal to male, or F when gender equal to female. If neither of these values are present, we will just give us others, right? And this is optional part, and we are ending the case statement with the end part. And the output will be like this. So everything remains same till third column. The fourth column, the values of male will become M, the female becomes F, right? So this is how we use case statement in an update part, in a DML, basically. Right? Clear on this part?
Yes.
Okay. So next, we are going to discuss on the SQL union operator, right? So what is a union operator? So it's basically, it combines results of two or more select statements. So for example, you have two select statements, like select few columns from table 1, and you are writing a union keyword, and again select few columns from table 2. The union output will be the combination of results from both these tables. Okay. So, but for the union syntax to work, there are few points which we need to keep in mind, right? So since you are having two or multiple statements with the union keyword in between them, you need to make sure the number of columns in the select part is same. Like if you are specifying here select column A from table 1, right? Union, again in the second query you should also have one column, select column A from table 2. It should go like this. Let's say you are select A from table 1, then you should have a union select B from table 2. So see, both the select statements have one column in the select. So the number of columns should be same when you use a union. This is the first condition. Okay.
Okay.
Second condition is the same number of column expression should be there, right? Which means if you are having multiple columns here, A, B, so you need to make sure both of these select statements have the same column expressions that is there in the first query, and it should be there in the second query as well. So if the first select statement has two columns in the select part, the second should also have two columns in the second part, select part. Okay. The third is data type should be same. So here you see in the first one, we are selecting A and B from table 1, and in the second one, we are selecting B and C from table 2, right? For example, let's say A is of type integer, B is of type character 6, right? And then here in the table 2, B is of type decimal and C is of type varchar. Let's say 20. So if this is the case and we write this union statement, it will not accept because data types are not matching. So what should happen? The data type of A should match the data type of B in the second statement, and data type of B in the first statement should match data type of C in the second statement. But if you see here it is int, here it is decimal, so it won't match. Again here it is character, here it is varchar, it won't match. So this query will not work. So for this particular query to work, we need to make sure B is also integer and C is also character 6, right? So if this conditions are matching, then it will work. Column names should be same is not a requirement. Column data type should be same. Name can be anything. Just we need to make sure the data types are matching in the sequence which we are giving in both the select statements. If the first column in select statement 1 is integer, we need to make sure the first column in select 2 is also an integer value. Okay. And then the next part is you need to make sure all of them are in same order, which we again discussed in this example. So in this case, if you see A and B now have the same data type, but if you write like this, select A from table 1, select A from table 2, and you have B here, you have C comma B here. Okay, so you have the first condition is satisfied here. You see, number of columns are same. Second condition is also satisfied. The column expressions are same. The third condition is also satisfied. The data types of these columns are same. So one is integer, one is character. Here also one is integer, one is character. But the order here is wrong, right? In this case, you are selecting integer first and then character. In this case, you are selecting the character first and then the integer, right? Since this order is different, it will fail. So this will not work if you use a union keyword. So for union, you need to make sure the number of columns are same, data type of both the columns are same, right? And the order in which the columns are written should also be same. Clear on all these 4 points?
Yes,
So
yes.
instead of that, suppose we mention like select star from table this and select star from, so it will not impact anything at that time.
Select star from, you mean to say this one, right?
Like instead of mention the column, if we just say select star from table 1 union select star from, so it will just like bring all the columns from both the table, correct?
Yeah, so this will work if it satisfies all these 4 conditions. So for example, if you have a table A, table 1 for example, with columns A, B and C, right? And you have table 2 with columns, let's say again B, C and A. Data types are same. This A matches with this A, this C matches with this C, and this B matches with this C. So now when you do select star, what will be the order for this statement? It will be A comma B comma C, right? And for this the order will be B comma C comma A.
Yeah.
So do you think if this is the order it will work?
No.
This condition fails, right? Even though data types are same,
Yes.
but the order is different. So when you use select star, you need to make sure both the tables are in same order. So if the table B was also in A comma B comma C order, right, it will work. But since in this case that column orders are different, this will not work. So your question was correct. If you do a select star from table 1, it will bring in all the columns. Only when both this table 1 and table 2 have the same number of columns and in the same sequence with the same data type, it will give you the results. If the sequence is different, it will not give you any results. Okay.
Okay.
So this is on the union part. And one more thing you need to make sure, right? So even though the data type should be same and they should be in the same order, but it is not necessary like the character length should be same or the value length should be same. So what it means is, so in this case, if you see, we have A as integer, B as character, and in the second part we have B as integer, C as character 6. So here if you notice, character 6 and character 6 are matching. So even if it is character 4, right, the column C, this will still work because the data type is same, both are characters. The lengths are different, which does not matter, right? So, and what will happen in this case? Let's say we have the value 20 in column A, and we have the value female in character 6, right? And same, we have the value 30 in B, and we have the value, so it's only character 4. So let's say we have the value FEMA. Okay, let's take male. Male is 4 characters, right? So these are the values. Now when we do this select A comma B from table 1, union select B comma C from table 2, what is the output we are going to get? We will get first line as 20, and then we have female, right? And then 30 we have male. Ideally this should be the output, right?
Yes.
Because we are doing union, but since the character lengths are different, right, it will take the lowest character length. So what will happen, it will truncate these values. So you will get the values like this: 20 FEMA and 30 male. Got it? So the characters data type is same, both are characters, so it will not fail, it will just truncate the values. So minimum is 4, so it will just take 4 characters and display whatever comes in the 4 characters. So for female, it's taking 1, 2, 3, 4, which comes till A, and it will just display you FEMA. Okay, clear on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is how union works. And one more point to note on union is like when you combine 2 tables or 2 data sets using a union, it will remove the duplicate records, right? So if you see the screenshot here, we have 2 tables, table 1 and table 2. In table 1, we have values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in table 2, we have values 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 7, 8. So when we do a union on table 1 and table 2 on column A, what we get as a result, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is there in table 1, and then 7 and 8, which is there in table 2. Why this 1, 2, and 3 from this table did not come? Because these are all duplicates, and we already have these entries in table 1. Right? So whatever was not present in table 1 will come in the results from table 2, because we are removing the duplicate values. Got it?
Okay.
So clear on this part? What happened here? So since we are
What does it will do? It will just gather the input from both of the table. However, it will be unique.
right, it should be unique, right? So even though we have like how many ones here? 1, 2, 3, 4 ones, but it will take the unique value. So only one time one will be displayed. Clear on this part?
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next part is union all. So union all is similar to union. It is again used to combine 2 tables, right? With this and all the 4 properties that we saw earlier, like this same number of columns should be selected, same number of column expressions should be there, same data type should be there, and they should be in the same order, and the length does not matter. So this 4 conditions still holds true for union all as well. It should match those conditions. The only difference between union and union all is it will keep the duplicate values. It's not going to filter out the duplicate values. So same example, table 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Table 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 7, 8. When you do a select A from table 1, union all select A from table 2, you get this result set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which comes from table 1. And then you have the values 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 7, 8, which comes from table 2. So if you see, the 1 is coming 4 times because we did not filter out the duplicates. So this is the only difference between union and union all. Like union will remove the duplicate values and select only the unique values. Union all will keep the duplicate values. Clear on this part?
Yes. Yeah.
So there is one interview question which comes in this particular area. So they will ask you what is the difference between union and union all. Okay. And then they will ask you which is faster, union or union all. So your answer will be union all is faster than union because we are not filtering any duplicate records in case of union all. We are just taking data set from both the tables and we are displaying it. So there is no additional processing that is happening to filter out the duplicates, which is the reason union all is faster than union. Clear on this part?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.